Hi everybody, welcome to this week's KFIR Middle East update. I think it's a significant week. It's the week of December 18th. And as you know by now, if you're a follower of KFIR, that we do have a PDF PowerPoint that I encourage you to get. We include the link on this YouTube page as well. We jump into our news bites for the week. According to Palestinian law, did you know that it's a criminal offense for Palestinians to sell land to the Jews? You probably knew that, but do you know what the punishment is? The punishment for committing such an offense, what was it? Selling land to Jews, is life in prison with hard labor. I just, once again, as we begin this process of looking at a new year, looking at the opportunities that the administration that's coming into power is going to look for in terms of a two-state solution, let me just remind you that the Palestinians have no desire to have peace in any way with Israel. Now, Mahmoud Abbas's advisor, this just came out. We're ending Hanukkah today, as you know, and he made the statement that it is considered a war crime for Jews to place a Hanukkah menorah at a Jewish/Muslim religious place. Think Temple Mount. Think the Cave of the Patriarchs. A war crime to have a menorah there. Now, a couple shocking things that just came out today. A lot of turmoil in Israel politically. Expect another election, probably around the Passover time. But in an interview with a Saudi-backed newspaper, blue and white leader Benny Gantz made the quote, this is the quote, "Jerusalem must remain united, but," this is a big but, "there will be a place in Jerusalem for a Palestinian capital." Let that one sink in. How do you think that's going to go over? And then more and more, I'm seeing Nikki Haley get much more involved in the political scene. Some believe that in the next election, it may be a Trump-Haley ticket to go up against whoever. Probably Biden and Harris, but again, that's what I'm seeing on the horizon. And she's gone on record, and like I said, being more and more vocal, that she's warning President-elect Joe Biden that rejecting all of Trump's foreign policy advancements would be a huge mistake. And so I have a feeling we're going to see and hear more and more from Nikki Haley. Now, for those that are new to KFIR, we kind of go into longer, those are our news bites, and here are the big articles for this week. And again, last time I'll say it, grab the PDF because the photos go along with this. This first article, I've just simply entitled, "We Hear You." Rashida Tlaib told voters that Georgia's Senate runoff elections are an opportunity given by Allah to demonstrate the power of the Muslims. She made the comments in a virtual vote-a-thon that was hosted by the Georgia chapter of KFIR and the Georgia Muslim Voter Project on the eve of first day voting, online voting. And her quote is, "I hope you realize just the opportunity here that Allah has given to show the power of Muslims in Georgia." She said, "I want people to be like, oh my God, I didn't know there were that many Muslims in Georgia." Exactly, because we're going to show them in droves of numbers that Muslims are a small but growing minority in Georgia. and so on and so forth. So again, we hear you. I hope the battle lines are drawn in your mind. I'm not I want you to understand my position in all of this. If I speak what seems to be ill of Muslims or Allah, I'm simply saying it's a spiritual warfare that's going on. It's important to realize that. I don't hate all Muslims. I pray that they come to know Jesus. I hope that's the same as you. And I hear that God is doing miracles, amazing things, and bringing many Muslims to himself. Good news, again, as Trump is walking out the back door, he's doing everything once again possible in the pursuit of the Abrahamic Accords. According to Israeli sources, both Indonesia and Oman, Indonesia is the country with the largest Muslim population in the world, could within a few weeks forge diplomatic ties with Jerusalem under the umbrella of the U.S. mediated Abrahamic Accords. The White House is reportedly kind of feverishly attempting to get as many states as possible on board this peace train prior to President Trump leaving office. Now some news about COVID. The Pfizer COVID vaccine has now been endorsed by the U.S. federal FDA. And so again, we're starting to see vaccinations taking place. It looks as if it's just going to be an ongoing thing. I know that vaccinations have started in Israel. In this next article, we'll see that one of the allurements, I guess you would say, to make sure that Israelis follow through in getting this vaccine is what's called the Green Passport. The health ministry is planning to issue those who are vaccinated against the coronavirus a green passport, which will grant a waiver of restrictions applied to curb the virus outbreak. They won't have to be quarantined. They'll have open access to a variety of things, ongoing, social concerts, different things such as that, indoor restaurants, whereas non-vaccinated people will be withheld from that. There'll be some very big perks for those that have a green passport. A sad note, we've last couple of weeks, I've talked about this new book coming out about Anne Frank. And right here in Idaho, Boise, long way from Coeur d'Alene, where we live, but there's only one Anne Frank memorial in the U.S., and it was vandalized last week with swastika and threatening flyers. Again, I mentioned it's located in Boise. There were swastika stickers and flyers with hate symbols and the words, "We are everywhere." And if you look at the pictures here, you'll see that they're placed on her diary. And of course, other various places throughout the memorial. The leadership there of the Wasmuth Center for Human Rights told the USA Today that it's sad and that this is becoming a statement of possibly who we are as a community. The organization that maintains the memorial says, I think that what we're seeing, we have to take seriously. Such acts are just not random. So once again, this whole subject of the rise of anti-Semitism. And then it's reported that there possibly will be a prisoner swap, Israel and Hamas. Again, the two soldiers who died in the Gaza war, Oren Shaul and Hadar Goldin, the Hamas organization has their bodies and will not release them for a proper burial. And then there are two other Israeli citizens that it seems like they had some mental issues, but were captured as they went into Gaza. And so there's 4 of these so-called prisoners that Hamas is hanging on to. And so the question's going to be, what is the negotiating tool going to be? The lessons learned from the last, when the Israeli soldier was captured and then released, with over 1,000 terrorists that were released as well for the exchange. That's the Gilad Shalit situation. There's an uprising of concern in Israel regarding, what are we going to give up for this? And but it's reported that the negotiations will be more along the lines of vaccinations and protection for COVID than actually to release terrorists. And then, there's an article here, I'm running out of time, about Rashida Tlaib. It's just called Oh Rashida. I think it's important that you get to know the background of this person. She had the audacity to wish her Jewish neighbors a happy Hanukkah. She said that Hanukkah inspires me, especially during this difficult time. I hope we can all remember that even in the most unexpected moments, miracles can happen. That sort of 1 day of oil for 8 days to rededicate the temple, the menorah. What I don't think Rashida understands is that the flip side, the miracle was not just about the oil lasting. The miracle is that David beat Goliath once again, that the Maccabees drove out the occupiers of the Greek Empire, and that is sort of the underlying miracle of all of this. And so I'm not sure that Rashida understands all of that, because the holiday really is an affirmation of Jewish sovereignty over their historic land of Israel. And Tlaib just came out last week and endorsed the anti-Zionist with the slogan, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And that simply is a statement advocating wiping Israel off the face of the map. So get your story straight. This little light of mine, archaeologists have unearthed the candle holder from the Hasmonean period, 2,000 years old. Take a look at this. It's on that, it's found in the excavations that go from the Pool of Siloam up to the Temple Mount, up to the stairs of the southern steps. And we've walked this many different times, and it's just amazing some of the artifacts that are being discovered. So that's our updates for this week. It's the end of Hanukkah today, and so we continue to launch ourselves into this holiday season. And so I wish you a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and because it's the last day of Hanukkah, one last challenge for you all is to be the light. The miracle of the light defeating darkness, underlining Hanukkah, is the message we need to hear today, because it is true, it's getting dark outside, and there's one thing, the only thing that I know that can vanquish the darkness is light. So if you light your last Hanukkah candle tonight, just a reminder, don't let the light just be your candles, but may it be the way you walk and the way you follow Jesus, and that you are the light of the world. God bless you, and shalom.